We are right now in the very northern part, like northeastern part of the Dead Sea. This is the Dead Sea. The blue colors, very nice colors. And if we continue more to the south, we will not be able, at certain point, we would not be able to go by foot at least. By boat, yes. But at certain period, you reach the rocks, and that's it. So there is a community here that they found a community of quite an interesting group of people. And in the beginning there was one problem, because everything started from the discovery of Dead Sea Scrolls, from the discovery of the scrolls that would describe what? Describe the community, first of all. And straight away people would apply these scrolls to the community. And that was a mistake, because their library connected also other sources, and not only the idea how to live here in the community. So imagine you were traveling like Israelites in the desert, and there was a presence of God with tabernacle among Israelites, remember? So the idea of this community here was the same. They thought that Jerusalem was one Israelite camp, large camp. So what it means, that God's presence was not only in the Temple Mount, that the whole city should be holy. Okay, but if you looked at Pharisees, they were taking care about the laws of purity, but nevertheless for them the Temple Mount, that's the certain area where you must keep certain laws of purity. But when you're outside, when you're in the city, less laws. But for Essenes, the whole city was supposed to be pure. We know that there was a Essene quarter in the area of Jerusalem. And it is known that some of them decided to leave Jerusalem because they saw that everything is corrupt, and to create some kind of Israelite camp. Okay, I'm not saying that the camp, but idea was to create something that would keep the presence of the Lord, okay, like camp. That's why they would never, excuse me for such details, they would never go to the toilet in the camp. They will always go outside, because everything, and it's actually those things are in the Bible, that all this impurity should be outside of the camp. So they would go out of the camp using shovels with certain rules, and they would immerse themselves all the time. They would immerse themselves into the ritual baths, which is also very unique. Look around, where is water? I mean, Dead Sea, try to immerse yourself in the Dead Sea. It will take you back. And not far from us, in the greeny area, there are springs. But it's a different story. They started here, and notice you have this saddle, okay, this wadi, and when it's raining in the mountains up top, the water rushes towards us in strong streams. In ancient times, I guess it was even stronger. It did not have some settlements on the road to disturb, but nevertheless they knew how to divert this water into ritual baths. And as we agreed, I'll tell you some story here, and afterwards, if you have opportunity and of strength to do, you'll enter inside, you'll see those ritual baths. It's amazing. In the middle of nowhere, in the desert, the road would bring you just into this area. You cannot continue. So they were quite separate. I know that maybe you haven't heard about this, but if you continue today, we will drive south. There is another place, and there was also a community. Looks like that, but more ladies. We'll speak about this, God willing, when we pass by. Some archaeology was done further down. So in order to protect themselves, they needed just one tower in the northern part, because later on the sea, you have this is natural border. But inside this camp you will have lots of ritual baths, lots of them, and public baths, large ones. Imagine we are in the desert. It should be living water. It's not that you take a bucket and you bring water. That's why they would not bring it from the springs. You need something natural, living water that will flow into the mikvah, ritual bath, by itself. Otherwise it doesn't work. Okay? And they have also separation lines in order that while on one side of ritual baths you would enter, on another side you will come out. And this was done many times. Why I'm saying this, it's important because we got used to water everywhere, but these people knew how to live and survive in such an area. But what we know about this community mainly comes from Josephus and from the scripts itself. But again, some of the documents were found, they were imposed onto the community also. So there are still questions. Who were there and what is this Yachad community? But we know about certain rules, strict rules. When people come, they didn't have to be celibate. They could have been married, but they would not bring, I guess, their wives here. They would come here and live separately, maybe. Then what we also know, that in the area of the camp itself, they did not find even one scroll. Not even one scroll was found in the camp, in the territory of the walls. Even though there are rooms where they would have probably write the scrolls, others maybe they were collecting, because only in one cave they found the scrolls with the same handwriting. Probably they were not only those who just copied the scrolls in order to preserve them, but also maybe they gathered scrolls. But some scrolls were written here. And they studied a lot. And they worshipped facing what? What do you think? Actually east. Yeah, but you're right that it should be logical. But they were praying east. They will have their unique calendar also. And if you look all around above the tops, you'll see many cavities, many caves in the area. If you enter more, you will see also in the wadi itself the caves. Okay. Do you notice those holes?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Over there too, in that direction too. So those are the caves. Where did the people of Qumran live? Not clear. Maybe they lived in tents outside of the camp. But why nothing was found, at least a little bit? In the area of the Dead Sea, many things can be preserved, so they don't know where the community lived. But what they know inside, most probable no, they lived outside. And there are many paths leading to the caves. Did they live in caves? Not clear. Archaeology proves that no, they didn't live in the caves. So how will this be solved? I don't know. And also, you've been to Caesarea, and we mentioned the library of Caesarea Maritima on the sea. But in the 3rd century of our time, after Christ, there was a library that was in Caesarea. And in this library, it is known that there was so-called hexapla, okay, Origen from Alexandria. He lived a certain period of time in Caesarea, and he decided to make comparative translations of the Bible. Okay, he had the Hebrew text and different Greek translations. It's the same way you have today, for example, Hebrew text and different English translation. King James, Tyndale Bible, how you call it, all kind of. So he would have these columns, and it is known that one of the translations he used of the Psalms was found on a scroll which was found in a jar near Jericho. So when we say about the area being discovered for the first time by locals in 1947. Remember, by a shepherd who was looking for his sheep, and he threw a stone into the cave in order to see the reaction. Is there a sheep or not? And he heard it broke. So and he decided to check, and he saw the broken jars and he saw the scrolls. The whole story is unique, how it's like Indiana Johnson's story, how these scrolls were applied. But thanks God, today Israel obtained the scrolls, and you can see them, some parts of them you can see in the Israeli Museum. Again, God willing, we'll visit them. But it wasn't the first time, not the 20th century. We read in the 3rd century it happened. And he would have used this from the scrolls, Greek translation, I guess. So that's a short story. As for the community, they lived according to certain rules, and in order for you to become the member of the community, I cannot become a member of community. Why? Because the camp cannot be defiled by lunatics, by deaf, by blind people, so I'm lunatic, by maniacs. So first of all, there were people who were trying to observe all laws, that the camp of God should be pure, and you had to leave a certain trial time in order to become the member, and after a certain period of time you have to give up your possession. And if you have something too, you would use everything. All the communion would use a thing, just as like communism. I would say, like no difference. I can go to Jerusalem and use someone's house. Of the person who lives now in Qumran, I can go to his house without problem. For example, so it was together. How do you call it? General? No, communal living.
Yeah.
With many laws, but I wish we could go up and see other caves where the scrolls were found, as if somebody took the sword and cut them. Remember, this place was destroyed during the first Jewish war. On the way to Masada. Masada soon will be destroyed. Okay, and this place also suffered a lot. And maybe some of the Roman soldiers, he checked the jars, he thought there would be some treasure, and he found just scrolls. He doesn't understand the language, so he took the sword and smashed and cut those into pieces. Maybe there are more caves you can see. I know it's tiring, but you should understand, Qumran did not start to live here. Before them, there was a biblical city. Most probably Soho, okay? And in the middle of the community they found a depression that's a well for gathering water, and you can still see it. It's the period of the first temple period.